Hello everyone, I'm Naratolysis. In this episode, we'll be talking about Shisui Uchiha. Shisui was a legendary figure. His name first appeared at the end of Part 1, in Sasuke's memories, though briefly mentioned. Phrases like strongest Uchiha, Shunshin no Shisui, Shisui of the body flicker, and admired by Itachi like an older brother, made him as mythical as the 4th Hokage. In Shippuden, only one of his eyes appeared, and it was instantly recognized by even the 5 Kage and other top-tier ninja, as wielding the most powerful genjutsu Kotoamatsukami. Even Obito, who had Kamui, was envious of it. Later, when his other eye showed up, it helped Itachi break free from Edo Tensei's control, turning the tide of the 4th Great Ninja War. But aside from his eyes and name, Shisui himself never showed up. Even during the war arc where ancient legends like Madara and Hashirama were resurrected, Shisui was notably absent, one of only 2 who didn't return. That's because while Madara and Hashirama were strong enough to break the power scale, Shisui's Kotoamatsukami could rewrite someone's will permanently, essentially breaking the plot itself. Just like when Itachi destroyed Shisui's eye and said to Naruto, "You don't need this eye anymore to stop Sasuke." Because if Kotoamatsukami was still around, who'd need Naruto? It wasn't until the final arc Kakashi, arc, and Itachi's true story that the legend turned into history, and we finally saw Shisui's true appearance. Shisui and Itachi were alike. Both had those teardrop eye lines and long eyelashes from a young age, but they weren't biological brothers. Shisui descended from Kagami Uchiha, whom the 2nd Hokage praised as someone who transcended the limitations of his clan. His name came from the phrase Mangekyō Sharingan, a heart as calm as still water and as clear as a mirror, a term used to describe the wisdom of a sage. Itachi, on the other hand, was known as the boy who thought like a Hokage at age 7. Among the brilliant Uchiha, these 2 were the only ones who truly understood each other. Shisui was a few years older than Itachi, and based on how even Killer Bee later knew of his fame, he likely awakened his Mangekyō Sharingan during the 3rd Ninja War, already a mature prodigy. Itachi was still a child prodigy at the time, and would often train with Shisui, just like how Sasuke looked up to Itachi as a kid. This dazzling shuriken technique we saw from Itachi, its origin lies with Shisui, during a joint training mission. Shisui used a tracking exercise to teach Itachi how to see from different perspectives. That night while camping, Shisui lit a campfire. Itachi asked curiously, "Textbooks say we should never light fires at night. There must be a reason you're doing this." Shisui smiled and handed him a grilled fish. "You're just too smart sometimes. It feels nice to eat with someone who lets me relax." Itachi smiled back. Not long ago, he had awakened his Sharingan after witnessing his teammates die. But when he returned home, his father congratulated him, as if gaining power mattered more than lives. That cold family atmosphere made him feel suffocated. But now, around the fire with Shisui, he felt at ease. Suddenly, the sound of metal clashing rang out nearby. A battle was happening. Shisui and Itachi rushed over, only to find members of the organization named Root attacking a fellow Umbu. Shisui, already a jonin at the time, demanded to know why they were fighting among themselves. Root claimed the Umbu had information on a traitor. If he handed over the scroll, they'd leave immediately. "Anyone who betrays the village deserves death. We will enforce justice to protect Konoha's order." The Umbu insisted the scroll must be given to the Hokage for proper investigation. Maybe the so-called traitor has their reasons too. This standoff foreshadowed the future Uchiha coup. At that moment, Itachi's inner thought was, between a traitor and the village is clearly more important. He leaned toward Root's way of thinking, but Shisui stepped forward calmly and said, "A ninja is an anonymous shadow that protects peace in the dark, but using weapons to force obedience and violence to maintain order, that's not peace at all." This was Shisui's ninja way, and the very reason his Mangekyō Sharingan, Kotoamatsukami, existed. Itachi was stunned by Shisui's words and chose to stand by him. In the battle that followed, Shisui displayed the true power behind his nickname, Shisui of the body flicker. His speed wasn't just movement. He left behind afterimages that looked and fought like real clones, unlike shadow clones that vanish on contact. Shisui's images could attack like real bodies, and also phase through attacks like illusions. It was a bit like Madara's Limbo clone, and the Root agents had no chance against it. Meanwhile, Itachi won his fight too, but using the Sharingan for the first time in real battle, overwhelmed his body. His foot twisted from the strain. Shisui carried him on his back and said warmly, "No matter how talented you are, don't push yourself recklessly." Then gently flicked his braid, kind of like Shisui's version of Itachi's famous forehead poke. On the way home, the usually serious Itachi was acting like a normal, cute kid. Shisui smiled warmly and said, "I see you as my own little brother. I hope you can think of me as your big brother too. Come to me whenever you have something on your mind." Itachi recalled what had happened earlier. He still wasn't sure if helping the Umbu was the right thing to do. Shisui replied calmly, "I don't believe my decisions are always right. We fight because we believe we're on the side of justice. But if the other side also believes they're right, then who's the real justice? There's always more than one way to look at things. But one thing is for sure, I will never betray you. Itachi, finally at peace, fell asleep with a satisfied smile. Thanks to Shisui's influence, Itachi joined the Umbu, hoping to become a nameless shadow who protect peace from the darkness. But he didn't seem to remember the second half of Shisui's word. Order maintained by violence is not true peace. Years passed. Both Shisui and Itachi grew older. Shisui continued to follow his own ninja way. During a war with hidden mist, he casually glanced across a distance of 800 miles and took down 2 enemies with genjutsu alone. The invading shinobi, including AO, were so terrified they ordered a full retreat. His absolute strength in genjutsu made it possible to win without fighting, but this merc, the choice not to kill, would eventually lead to his downfall. Shisui and Itachi's bond remained strong, but as Itachi matured, their power gap grew smaller. After one sparring session, Shisui noticed Itachi seemed troubled. It's about that thing, isn't it? He was referring to the Uchiha clan's plan to stage a coup. The rift between the Uchiha and Konoha had long been brewing, though the village was officially founded by both Madara and Hashirama. Madara's original dream was simply to protect his younger brother. In reality, the Uchiha, as the losing side, were forced to join forces with the Senju. Not long after, Madara realized the Uchiha could never truly integrate into Konoha. He tried to take the clan and leave. Unlike the Senju, who were willing to give up even their clan name for the sake of the village, the Uchiha were deeply rooted in clan pride. They had their own lands, their own shrine, and held regular gatherings. Even young Sasuke's childhood dream was to join the Uchiha police force. Historically, only a few Uchiha had ever truly served the village directly. Kagami, Shisui, and Itachi. Some Konoha leaders simply couldn't tolerate such a proud, independent clan. After the Nine Tails incident, the Uchiha were listed as prime suspect. They were increasingly pushed into a corner, and the proud Uchiha weren't going to take it lying down. They began plotting a coup. Itachi wanted to stop it, but he felt powerless. Shisui gently patted him on the shoulder. Don't lose heart, you still have me. At that moment, little Sasuke ran toward them. Looking at the two of them together, like real family, Shisui felt a warm surge in his chest. This is what it feels like to have a family. He touched his eye. I won't let it all fall apart. Not because of the clan or the village. Not no matter what it takes. Meanwhile, the village had already gotten wind of the Uchiha's coup plans. Danzo and his faction planned to strike first, to wipe out the entire Uchiha clan. Shisui immediately requested an audience with the third Hokage. He proposed using his Kotoamatsukami to alter the will of the Uchiha clan, to make them give up on the coup altogether. Both Hiruzen and Danzo were stunned. They hadn't known such a broken-level genjutsu even existed. Hiruzen sighed deeply. I'm counting on you, Shisui. If you can just buy us some time, the village will treat the Uchiha better going forward. But beside him, Danzo's mind had already begun spinning, with 1,000 dark thoughts. Before Shisui could act, Danzo secretly summoned him. You're seriously planning to waste such a precious power just to stop a petty coup? To a power-hungry man like Danzo, Kotoamatsukami was a tool that could help Konoha dominate the entire shinobi world. But Shisui only wanted to use it to bring peace. Danzo pressed further. Even if you manage to stop the coup, what will you do if the village doesn't change? Shisui answered sincerely. Sun Dai may had promised me he will make things right. Danzo sneered. Even with the Hokage's persuasion, someone as paranoid as me will never change his mind. When that time comes, will you use Kotoamatsukami on me too? A power like Kotoamatsukami, a genjutsu not of this world, must never be revealed before its use. If people knew it existed, they would never allow it. Suddenly, Danzo's killing intent exploded. Your Sharingan, I'll be taking it. But before he could act, Shisui shut him down instantly with just a glance. Yeah, Danzo was really no match. Shisui calmly reassured him. It's just a simple genjutsu. You'll wake up soon. He turned to leave, but he didn't expect Danzo had a Mangekyō Sharingan hidden beneath his bandages. The moment Shisui let his guard down, Danzo activated Izanagi, sacrificing that eye to rewrite reality and break free from Shisui's genjutsu. Then, he ambushed Shisui and gouged out one of his eyes. Shisui staggered back in shock, only to see a whole squad of root operatives appear at Danzo's side. Give me the other eye too, Danzo demanded arrogantly, but he had clearly overestimated his win. Shisui fired off a basic fireball jutsu, forcing the entire root squad to raise water-style shields in panic. By the time the mist cleared, Shisui was already gone. There's actually an alternate version of this fight, in Ultimate Ninja Storm Revolution, where Kishimoto did the character design. In that version, even after losing one eye, Shisui activates Susanoo with a single eye, and annihilates the root pursuers to escape. As we know, Naruto. The true power of the Mangekyō Sharingan comes from having both eyes, with only one eye left. Shisui could no longer use Kotoamatsukami to stop the coup. His last resort was suicide. From the moment Danzo took his eye, the story began to feel like a tragic setup. But in truth, it was a chain of inevitability. Yes, Shisui was far stronger than Danzo, as we saw later in Sasuke's fight with him. If Shisui had activated Susanoo earlier, Danzo's Izanagi would've just been a one-time escape trick. But Shisui didn't hate Danzo like Sasuke did. Even after using genjutsu to restrain, Shisui still tried to reason with him. Such a kind and compassionate heart was bound to fall victim to someone like Danzo. In fact, in the Itachi Shinden episode, Shisui was even poisoned once by a female ninja clan's venomous insect. The moment Konoha betrayed the trust, his fate was sealed. But the Uchiha coup had to be stopped. If civil war broke out within the village, other nations would seize the opportunity, and what followed would be devastating war. And Shisui, seen by his clan as the Uchiha's greatest shinobi, who would charge into any mission for the sake of the clan, had become their greatest hope. If he were to suddenly die, the clan's morale would collapse. They'd have no choice but to temporarily abandon the coup. Yes, it was just a temporary delay. And yes, Hiruzen's promises might never be fulfilled. But Itachi was still there. Even if the village and the clan betrayed him, Shisui could still believe in Itachi. He would buy time. For Itachi, at their usual meet up cliffside, Shisui entrusted his remaining eye, along with his ideal, to Itachi. You are the only one I can count on, my dearest friend. Protect the village and the name of the Uchiha. When an Uchiha witnesses the death of someone dear, their Mangekyō Sharingan awakened. And so, Shisui left from the cliff, his final farewell to Itachi. After his death, the Uchiha clan indeed backed down from their planned coup. But bitterness remained. Some clan members confronted Itachi, suspecting that he, a Konoha Umbu, had something to do with Shisui's death. If you dare betray the clan, we won't forgive you. Furious, Itachi knocked them all down. It was to protect this arrogant, blind clan that Shisui was driven to take his own life. And yet you remain clueless, still trapped in your delusions of clan pride, racing toward destruction. I've completely lost hope in this family. Meanwhile, nothing changed on the Hokage's side. The village continued to monitor the Uchiha closely. Danzo, always lurking in the shadows, still coveted those Sharingan eyes, waiting for a chance to strike. In such a climate, the peace Shisui died for didn't last long. When the Uchiha began planning another uprising, and Danzo once again pushed for a preemptive massacre, Itachi returned to the cliff where Shisui had ended his life. Alone, empty, and broken, he whispered, "Shisui, I failed to protect both the village and the Uchiha. And this time, there's no one left to entrust it to." We'll explore more about Itachi in his full character story later on. That's it for today's episode. If you like this video, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm Naruto, and I'll see you in the next one.